BigHerc916, positivity, motivation, never settle for average. I got a question for you guys out there. To you guys who are involved in real estate, if you're a property owner, you have rental properties, how would you deal with a situation like this, right? You have somebody that's decided to stop paying you rent. This person is giving you problems now because they don't want to move out, but they don't want to pay rent. And then when you try to bring in the police, they say you have to run the eviction process. So now you have to serve this person, get a lawyer, go back and forth. And in the meantime, this person is most likely destroying your house. In some instances, if you're trying to rent out a property, you have people that come in and they'll just straight up gangster the property. I mean, how wild is that, man? What would you do if somebody moved into the house that you're trying to rent out and then told you that you have to sue them to get them out of there because they produce a fake rental agreement?
House in Portland, Oregon, and totally got
Check
away
it out.
with it.
This is what they
So
do
the first
in
thing I
Oregon.
did was find a vacant house that somebody was trying to rent. Next, I looked up how to break into a lockbox without using force. Thanks, YouTube. Next, I forged some documents. This made it look like I had a lease agreement, and I called the utility companies and had the utilities put in my name. I'm not going to pay them, but they don't know that. When the owner showed up, I politely explained that this was my house now, and they need to leave. So they call the police, and I show them my lease agreement and the utility bills, and they tell the owner that this is a civil matter, and they've got to sue me. This made the owner super angry, so she lawyers up and tries to evict me. Of course, I can't afford a lawyer, so I call up a tenant advocacy group who gives me a lawyer that's 100% free and funded by taxpayers. So my out-of-pocket is still $0. So this lawyer fights on my behalf for months and months, really driving the owner crazy and costing her tens of thousands of dollars. Finally, the owner decided it would be cheaper to just give me a chunk of cash to leave rather than continue paying the lawyer. So she writes me a check for $10K and I move out. I didn't even have to clean the place up, and that's a good thing because I do a lot of drugs and the house looks every bit of it. Still no thank you note for aerating the walls, but whatever. So I just got 9 months of free rent in a house that otherwise would have cost me $3,000 a month, plus a nice cash for keys check. And I wasn't even charged with anything. I always thought that stealing was wrong, but it turns out if you steal a house, it's not even against the law here. So this couldn't have worked out any better. Thanks, Portland.
In a situation like that, man, I don't know how I would handle that because this person obviously thinks they're entitled, and this is the type of mentality you have in these cities that are ran by you know who, that think that these people have more rights than the homeowners, and you're losing money while they're destroying your house. You're paying a person to get out your house after they already lived there for free for months. That shit just blows my mind. See, this is why in certain instances you got to go gangster, man. And I understand why people go gangster and shit happens. Because something you worked so hard for, that you sacrificed for, you have a person that's been on drugs, basically mooched off of people, stole, think that there's no consequence to their actions. And I've seen it, man. Family member had a spot and a person was living there taking advantage of a situation because the person, the family member, they weren't really tripping off the rent, but this person was paying little to nothing. And then they turn around, they sublet the house out and had tenants in the house paying them. So they were making probably triple what they were being charged for rent. And then it came a point where the family member was too ill to even check on the rent, and so they just stopped paying. I wasn't in the same town, or the same state, or else, I don't know. And of course, people like, hey man, stay out of it. So, I just hear about it from a distance. But when I hear about people getting down like that, man, back in the day, man, somebody would just show up at night and things would just happen and the person would just leave, you know. But when and I'm not like advocating violence, but I'm just telling you that people who do stuff like that are pieces of shit. Pieces of shit, man. Tie you up in the legal system, destroy your property, then no compensation, and then they go on to the next person and do the same thing. Rent property from other people and do the same cycle. It's sad, man, that there are people out there like that, but in places where the laws aren't favorable to the homeowners, this is what you got to deal with. And you got to go through the eviction process. And after you go through all that and have the court process and the paperwork, then you can bring in the sheriffs and have them removed. But, this person might have been up in there for 6-7 months, no rent, you know? And then in some of these places, like this guy said, he got a free lawyer. And the lady got so frustrated, she's just like, man, I'll just pay you to move. And they take the money and run, man. And it's just disgusting, man. And these people are steady enabled. You're steady enabling these people, man. I don't get it. Man. If you don't want to pay somebody's rent, man, go sleep on the street. But these people see, this is the thing too. They're smart enough to know how to do this. You mean to tell me they're not smart enough to work a job? But they're smart enough to manipulate how to get into a lockbox, how to forge a rental agreement, how to hire a lawyer. They know how to do all this stuff. So these people aren't really as helpless as they claim. That's the fraud. They're running game on everybody. And then on top of it, they're getting EBT, they're getting welfare, they're getting all these different things, man. And they're fully capable when they want to be. Only when they want to be. But they don't want to be because they figure like, man, the system it's easy to play the system. I don't know, man. I just find it alarming. At the same time, for people who go through this, I find it very depressing for those people. And I've seen people go through it, man, and horrible situation. But leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this, man. And subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to stop by the BigHerc916 store and pick you up a sticker for your car, or a patch, or a sticker for your laptop, or maybe a beanie, or read one of the many books that BigHerc916 has authored. You know how we do it.